Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Michelle, and today I've got a lace cut journal page for you. You know how much I love doing a lace cut page, and I haven't done one in some time, so I thought I would give it a go. So I grabbed out this mandala stencil from Marlene, and I'm just using some Heaven. I think this paint is called Heaven, and I'm just going to sponge through the whole stencil to mark off where I want to cut. I'm placing the stencil kind of a little bit off to the side there, so it's not right smack back in the center. I always find that if I do things just off center, it just looks a little bit more interesting than having it right in the middle of the page. So that was kind of the idea. So first off, I am making sure that I've got a sharp blade in my little craft knife there. So I just clipped the tip off so the new blade is there. And I've got a very thin cutting mat underneath. So this cutting mat I just got from a local grocery store here. It's really nice and thin, so I can push it in right to the edge of right into the spine of the page, which really helps. That little bit, I was a little bit enthusiastic, so I accidentally tore it. So I'm just taking some of Marlene's sticking glue and I'm gluing it in. Okay, and then the cutting begins. So this was, if you are new at lace cutting, I would suggest using a simpler pattern than this, because this was it's got a lot of curves. If you are new, I would say stick to straight lines, something quite geometric that's easy to cut. I've obviously done a whole lot of these over the years, so I do feel like I've got some control over my blade and I can do it safely. And I can really get into the little bits like those teardrop kind of shapes. I could do easily, whereas if you're a beginner, you might struggle with it. So start off with something small and manageable, work slowly, and use a sharp blade. Those, I think, would be my top tips. You could also use your silhouette or your Cricut machine to design a pattern for yourself and cut your paper with that if you're not confident using a blade. I know some people have some issues with their wrists getting sore, so there are always options to add lace cut pages into your journal if you cannot do it with a blade. Okay, so different color palette for me altogether here. I'm using all of the greens that Marlene has in her range. Well, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them. And I've got some azure and also that sky color because my initial stenciling was with that sky color. So I thought I would add that in as well. And I just did little patches with my sponge all over the page. I like to do it with my sponge because if I had to do it with a paintbrush, a lot of it will seep into the stencil and onto the other side of the page. I don't know yet what I will be doing with the other side of the page, so I wanted to make sure that there's no seepage to the back of this. So, I can go in with whatever color I want. Now I'm going in with this beautiful florally, corally stencil from Marlene. And I did manage to get paint on the back of my paper, even though I tried so hard not to. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So what I'm doing is I'm smooshing paint on with my finger, putting the stencil over the top, and then wiping away with a wet baby wipe. It's called reductive stenciling or ghosting. It's a really, really fun technique. I must say I love doing this more than I love sponging through the stencil like you normally would. So you'll see me do this on pretty much all of my pages. It just gives really nice interest. I also find it a lot quicker than trying to sponge through and getting the sponge evenly and making sure that there's not too much paint on the sponge so there's no seepage underneath the stencil. For me, this is just quick and easy and really, really effective. Okay, so I've got this green background, and then I decided I'm going to add flowers to the bottom right corner of my page, just to add some contrast and interest. Of course, I could have left it as is, maybe just added a little bit more mark making and finished off with a quote. That would have worked fine, but I felt a little florally this day. So I've got Marlene's cut and paste book, and I'm just selecting a couple of flowers that I really, really like, and that's really contrasting to the background. And I'm just going to trim out some of them, fussy cut them nicely. I think I might have used the Paper Elements book as well to add a couple more. I can't remember. We'll see. And I'm also not sure if I maybe paused the video while I trimmed all of these out, or maybe you're going to have to suffer watch me cut all of these. It looks like you're going to have to suffer through this. I'm sorry. So I'm sticking to reds and pinks and a little bit of purple, just because those look really nice on the green background. And I'm just auditioning them. I am never afraid of chopping my flowers in half to make them fit better. So that big one I cut in half, and then the smaller one I cut in half, and that actually makes it align quite nicely with the edge of the page. So still more cutting. And when I don't have whole flowers, like the one that I've got there in the corner, it was printed like that on the paper. It doesn't matter, because I know that I can tuck it in underneath a different flower, or I can use it on the edge. So you don't always need whole flowers to make a spread like this work. And now you can start seeing how the picture is going to come together. This one needed a little bit more refining around the edges, and I'm pretty sure we're close to getting them glued down. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so quickly gluing them all down. I am overlapping them. I'm tucking things underneath and over the top of each other, and just adjusting here and there. Marlene's glue does dry quite quickly, but once you've stuck it down and you want to adjust it immediately, you can still do that. But after a little while, you cannot lift anything anymore, because it does glue down quickly and very well. I can highly recommend this glue. If you don't have it, you can definitely look at getting some, because it's quite a nice glue. It dries clear, goes on white, so you can see where you are putting it down, and then it dries completely clear. Okay, I did feel like I needed a little bit of mark making on this page, because I hadn't done any other than the stenciling. So I'm just dipping my brush into some green and just pressing my brush down so it's got that organic shape of the tip of the brush. And now I'm going in with a little bit of watered down azure. I wanted to just make sure I've got a bit of a shadow around my flowers. So I started off with azure, and I think later on I'll go in with my Stabilo All pencil. I quite like doing different layers of shadowing. So the azure I'll probably pull out a little bit more, so it extends further away from the flowers. And then when I go in with the Stabilo All pencil, I will keep that line closer to the flower. So there's like different layers of shadowing. I hope that makes sense. Maybe I'll do it on here and you'll see. But first I'm doing a little bit of stamping. I love that little script stamp in the Grungy Textures stamp set. And now I'm going to brighten up some of those colors just using my paint pens. That paint pen wasn't quite bright enough for me, so I've got Marlene's neon paints. This is the orange, and I obviously would have gone in with pink and purple as well. just boosting those colors. So what happens when you put neon paints over the colors that are there? So I will always put my pink over pink, purple over purple, that kind of thing. When you do that with neons, it acts like a filter. So if you put a filter over your photos on Instagram or wherever you edit your photos, it just boosts the colors. So it doesn't change the color that's underneath. It just makes it look a little bit brighter. It adds, like with the punk, the purple one, it adds some depth and dimension. So really fun effect to do. And I really love getting my fingers involved with neon paints. I find that it's easier to spread, and they, just looks nicer when I do it with my finger instead of a paintbrush. So I'm still faffing about adding some more details and colors. I'm going to add some white now, just brightening up some of those bits. And I love the way that the white makes things pop a little bit more. It just brings things together, and it's well worth taking the time to add those white details. I also felt like I needed to do some splatters, so I've got some gloss spray from Dina Wakley, and I've just done a little bit of splatter just using the stem of that little spray thing, the spray top of the bottle. And I'm going in with some black details just here and there, making things pop out a little bit more, going around the petals. So what happens when things are printed, they never print in a true black. And I like to add that black back in just by using my paint pen or Stabilo or pencil, just to refine the edges and make the black pop again. My best tip for working with bright colors or a lot of colors to pull things together would be to add black and white. If you have not tried it before, I can highly encourage you to do that, because it really it makes the colors brighter, but it also tones them down at the same time, and it just makes things pop a bit more. I know it doesn't make any sense, but go try it and then let me know what you think about it. And sometimes even while you're working on it, you think, oh no, this is not really doing anything. But just keep working. Maybe take a progress photo before you start adding black and white, and then afterwards, and you will see that it definitely makes a difference. Okay, I'm going to finish off this page with a little quote. And I chose this turquoise one. I didn't want it to be too in your face, so I actually used two quotes together and stuck it down, and now I'm just going to do a little scribbly border. And I think that's about it, apart from probably faffing a bit more. Yes, I do add some of the special effects paint or glitter glue from Arlene. I really love the shine and the shimmer that it gives. And lastly, but definitely not least, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for always commenting and being kind. Please keep doing so. I love hearing from you. It really makes my heart happy when I get a comment from you guys. I will see you again soon. Okay, bye.